What are we whispering about?
A blue orb that came through her bedroom door, glided
Oh,
past her and went out of the bedroom window. And she was like, yeah, that's whatever.
that's
It's like,
amazing.
so that's about a year ago, I think. Yeah. It's a bright blue orb, but quite big as well, she said. And it just gently got
Um,
to the bedroom door, which was open, and
yeah.
went out.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Did the orbs that you saw with your son, did they have any colours or were they colourless?
No, they were all different colours. Green, like a white, like a grey white, like a pinkish, maybe very soft pastely rainbow coloured.
In the air, by the sea, from the land, and within you and me. Fairies are whispering. This is Claire Casely, and I am a fairy whisperer. To catch a whisper, you have to listen closely. Listen with me. Hello and welcome, everyone, to the Fairy Whispering Podcast. Hello, welcome to this bonus chat for the Fairy Whispering Podcast with me, Claire Casely, and my guest, Jem Albro. And by the time you see this video, I would have released the episode that I recorded with Jem in her garden, talking about her fairy experiences there. Hello, Jem.
Hi.
Hi, lovely to see you
Yeah,
again. Can you share where you are in
yeah.
your
Oh, so I'm in my cabin, my beloved crystal cabin. So, uh, behind me is my dresser of bits and bobs of crystals and things that I've made, and yeah, it's my happy place. My,
mm,
yeah, self-indulgent room, cabin
God,
in the garden.
yeah, and this is where we recorded that episode, isn't
Yes,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, so come on today
And
because there's the sorry.
I was going to say, and this is where the first ever fairy experience, or
Yeah.
first fairy that I saw, happened as well, right here. So back
Mm.
in January. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, carry on. If you share whatever you want about anything that's happened since we met, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, you know that I've got my husband likes the technology and he's got a few cameras everywhere, etc. But it's because of those cameras is how I found out that there's fairies living here in the garden. They're in the house as well, which I didn't really realise. I should have guessed really because I've had quite a lot of poltergeist activity, not just like in the last few months, but for about a good 10 years. And I never even put two and two together. And But now looking back about it, I realised that perhaps I just assumed it was, like a spirit of somebody that used to live in the house that used to come back and every now and again in visitation and say hello. Because where do I start? So my son Harry, so he's 12, and when he was a baby, see, this is what I wanted to tell you. I totally forgot about it when I was waffling on last time.
carry on. Mm.
When he was a baby, I say baby, he say he was about 3. He used to see lights, and also he used to say um, that somebody was waking him up at night time. It's really vague, that bit, but I do remember one thing about that. So he was about 3 or 4, and I just put him to bed, and he came. I'd gone back down to the lounge, and he came about 5 minutes later. He came back down, and he said, "Mummy, they're shaking my bed," and I was like, right, because been quite a few different happenings, you know, that he'd said things that he'd seen and heard, etc., which I knew was something interacting with him, something that I couldn't see. But I thought, I'm not having this. So I marched upstairs, and I went into the room and I said, right, you leave my baby alone, because he was so frightened. You know, they're shaking my bed, because he'd got where I didn't want to go to sleep. So I just assumed that it was the resident ghost that used to come and you know, visit. I assumed it was a ghost because I'd hear, we've got 2 floors, and at the very I'd hear like footsteps coming down the stairs, those stairs, and I'd hear things moving around. So, you know, just assumed it was a ghost. But now I think about it, I wonder if it was the fairies. So since you and I met in May, I've seen them on the camera in the lounge. I've got an amazing, I don't know if you've seen it, an amazing, I'm sat on the sofa. I've posted it on the Instagram page.
Right.
But there's this orb, you know, I see millions of orbs everywhere.
Yeah.
But this one, about yay big, that big. See the little faces around the edge of it, the little eyes like peeking over.
Oh, wow.
And it goes up and then down, straight down again. Now, I've never seen an orb do that. I always see them like zoom really fast, or they'll glide across all sorts of orbs. The most amazing one I saw recently, the garden, you've got me started now, is the flashing one. It came out, it rosemary pot by the fence, you know, within the burning tree.
Yeah, they love that rosemary and lavender, don't they?
Yeah.
I seem to remember. Yeah.
Clover that grows there. It's not clover. It's got another word. I remember you talking about it recently, a couple of months ago. Anyway, but that's a sign fairies have been, because, you know, anyway, there's also clover growing in the pots as well, taking over. But this orb, it was like, wasn't spherical. It was more like an oblong shape, and it starts off small, and you can see it flashing. It goes boop 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 boop, and it's getting bigger, and then off it goes. You know, this little being going into the ether in the garden, wherever it was going. I don't
know. I've seen an oblong orb, so yeah, I know that they can be whatever shape. Yeah.
This big. I've seen them this big, but I've never seen one. Well, 1 or 2 that I've seen that flash like that. But anyway, back to the lounge. So this orb is spherical, about this big, and it goes up and down. Doesn't make a noise or anything. Can't hear anything, and I can't see it. You can see me on the sofa on my phone, looking at the cameras, looking for the fairies, and they're like just there going, hello.
I've seen that one. Yeah, I've seen it. It's really unusual the way it kind of like almost like they're bouncing up to look at the camera and then down again. Yeah.
Sliding bounce. Yeah. So they're in the house. And like there's been a couple of things that have moved. So I was sat on the sofa in the lounge. If you can hear that, that's Daisy. I did tell you had to behave if you were staying. That's Daisy Doodles. So I was in the lounge a couple of years ago. Again, minding my own business. This is last year, because I've only discovered the fairies February, March time this year. Sat and minding my own business in the lounge, got a drink on the table, and then out the corner of my eye, the can goes, and I was like, what was that? So obviously get on the camera straight away. It's very useful. And I zoomed in, and sure enough, you can see the can goes and it moves. I was like, okay, trying to get my attention. But by that point, I'd had lots of things happen in the house, not just to me, but to Harry, my son. He had, when he was about 7, he used to, you know, you can get the kids magazines, and then on the front of the magazine, you'll get a free gift, and then that's covered by plastic containers. So you have to get the gift out. Anyway, so that had been taken off, discarded on the table, magazine discarded, and he was playing with whatever he got for free. And so he sat at the kitchen at the end, and I stood talking to his dad and our daughter, and next minute he comes up to me and he goes, Mum, you need to check the cameras. My thing just moved. And I was like, oh, okay then, you know. And you sure see it, and it doesn't just move. This is the plastic covering. It's flat on the table. It lifts up to about that and then skirts, drops.
Oh.
So I was like, oh yeah. So whatever it is that's interacting with Harry, doing it since he was little, because I was thinking back to when he was little, you know, in that episode about when he came downstairs and said they're shaking my bed, and I thought, no, I've had enough. I'm not having that, not having frightening him. But around the same time as well, he'd always talk about the lights, Claire.
Wow.
And he'd look up at the ceiling and he'd point and he'd go, Mummy, can you see the lights? And I'd be going, no. This happened about 3 or 4 times. And then one morning he came up the stairs to our bedroom. So he got in bed next to me. So he must have been 4 or 5. And he snuggled next to me. And I don't know, we were reading a story or something. It's quite early in the morning. And he said it again, oh, Mummy, look, the lights. And I watched him and he sat there and he's literally, he can see something. And I said, oh, I can't see it, Harry. You know, I wish I could see it. And as if by magic, they were there. I could see them as soon as I'd said that. And there were all over the ceiling. And I kept rubbing my eyes and going, no. And I could see what he was seeing. And there was hundreds of lights, orbs. They were varying in size from, the biggest was about that big. And then you get smaller ones like that. And they were gently floating all over the ceiling. And they were there for about 2 or 3 minutes. Gosh. And I kept thinking, no way. And so because I wish I could see what you could see, they let me. So again, I didn't think that anything. I didn't think that was fairies. That never even entered my head. But looking back now, was that fairies? Was that the fairies that were interacting with Harry? Was it fairies? Ghost? I don't know. So talking about poltergeist activity in the house, so one of the most recent things that I told you about, which was amazing, and I've got that on video as well.
Yes, that's incredible.
With these cameras. There was I was in the kitchen with my mum. This is about a month ago, and I was putting so you've been in my kitchen, so you've got the sink and then you turn around and then you've got the oven behind you. So I was in that there. So I was back at the sink and I was unloading the dishwasher and I was putting stuff back. And my table, I'm chatting to my mum, and I just put some utensils in the pot, and then I turned around and then I heard a crash, and they had fallen from the utensil area. There was a couple that were lying on the next to the pot, I think, and then there was most of them were in the pot. So it was in the middle of the kitchen floor, this ladle. So I was like, oh. So my mom was like, oh, you've probably just knocked it when you were putting the stuff away. And I thought, well, more than likely I have to, but let's check it out anyway. So expecting to see, I'd knocked something and it had fallen off. But no. Oh no. So what had happened, there was the ladle wasn't in the pot. It was laying on its side behind the pot, and you can see it. You can see the handle lift up. Gosh. And then it twists and it launches onto the floor. And I wasn't anywhere when it happened, but watch the video. Make your own.
I've seen the video, and it's like it doesn't just. I mean, it's in the pot, isn't it? That's the way, and it's sort of.
No, it's behind the pot. It's behind the, not in the pot. It's behind the pot.
Oh, okay.
So you've got the pot on the counter, and then right behind it, so further away from the edge of the counter.
I see.
And you can see the lid, the arm of it lifts up behind the pot. So you say the pot's here, lifts up behind, twists, and then launches. So I mean, hopefully it wasn't a knife, to be honest.
I know, but that's with this old idea with fairies and kitchens and how they people would encounter them in houses, and
so I mean, I'm not saying it's fairies, I'm not saying it's a ghost, I don't know what it was. I'd love to you know, I'm always trying to think of a logical explanation as well. I try that, but I can't. You can clearly see it lifts up on its own because it's laying flat as well, and it lifts up and then launches. So some kind of energy has moved it. I don't know what the energy was, but I mean, do you remember me talking about talking about things moving? My husband's wedding ring that was missed.
Yes, that was incredible. That's yeah,
That was
story. Yeah.
missing almost 3 years missing. And then as soon as I said, "Oh, please help me find it," you know, then it was returned outside. What?
I know, and it just turned up in the most unusual place, didn't it? Like
Yeah,
somewhere that you'd see it,
yeah.
you're
So
walking past. Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. So in lockdown, we went for a bike ride. So the four of us and myself, Harry and Scarlett, all of us had to wheel the bikes over the area where it was. Anyway, I mean, we would have seen it years ago if it always been there, but it was left on the decking by the side of the house. So
And that's where you've had a lot of these manifestations coming out of the decking, haven't you? And the
yeah,
house and the wall.
walls, yeah, they come out from anywhere and everywhere. Yes,
And there's
yeah, they do.
even animals responding to it. So you've got a fox that
Yeah, so the
responds to them.
fox,
Yeah.
yes, I
Yeah.
see the fox most nights, and yeah, the fox likes to. It's got a routine.
Mm.
It like run along to the end of the decking, then it turns around and then goes back again to and off it goes. But yeah, so there was one video I posted recently where you can see the fox sees something and it goes, nope. Runs off. And then there's another video, which is one of my favourites, where the
Yeah.
fairies, three of them, or three, I say fairies, but they are orbs and they're various different sizes, but there are, again, you can have a look at the video, but there's three of them and they all race with the fox. I mean, the fox loses, they're all quicker than the fox, but it's like they're having a race. And there's another video where Daisy Doodles, I'm looking at, she's asleep now, must be boring her, but every single night, Claire, she goes outside and sits on the steps every single night, and she's waiting for the fairies. I'm convinced, and maybe the odd mouse as well. But
yeah,
it's there, and they've interacted with her. They've teased her and played with her. Oh, and Scamps as well. So Scamps was walking along the lawn, like April time, and Scamps is my other cat, the black one. He's a bit cool and he's chilled out, and then all of a sudden something comes up and he goes, "Whoa," like that, and then you can see it like flying around a space, and it zooms off and he goes, "No, get away." Yeah, it could be. It's hard to see what it is, but jumps up at him from within the grass and is in his space, buzzes around him.
Yeah, because interestingly, Chris Fleming was talking, who I interviewed recently, was talking about how he saw an elf and that it came up out of the ground. And I instantly thought about your videos because he saw it as this form that came out of this grassy area and then went back in. And he said that he was searching around in the grass.
I remember that.
Yeah. And I thought, like Gem's videos, yeah.
Yeah, and I hear people talk about how they've seen something and it goes into the tree. I read somewhere on recently, lady's account. She was in, I think she was living in Norway.
Right.
Okay, somehow on Facebook. I don't remember where it was, but she gave her account of this. She was in the kitchen looking out of the window doing the washing up or something. So her thinking about her state of mind as well. She was just relaxed, wasn't thinking about much, just doing whatever, cleaning up. And then out the window, she sees this little person dressed in green run to the tree in her, and then she said it disappeared into the tree trunk. And I've seen that. I've seen them, disappear into the ground. Gnomes tend to come from the ground, they're earth elemental as well, which makes sense to me. So I've seen them arrive and depart. So when I was 15, 16, there was that troop of gnomes that I saw that I was sat on a sofa and they came from underneath the sofa and they ran across the rug and they scurried. There was about, I don't know, somewhere between 8 and 10 of them, but they were about this big, little men in hats, and the scurrying caught my attention, fully expecting to see a mouse, and it wasn't. It was the gnomes. I was like, what? Anyway, and then they dove into the ground one by one, like lemmings. So yes, they do.
Yeah, and my close friend who lives up in Birmingham, I'm hoping to speak to her actually when I go and visit her in November. She had an experience one night where they were in their sitting room, and this is a very old part of Birmingham, and she saw there's this brown misty shape that came up from out of the corner and leapt over the sofa, and her dog was watching it. It was almost like it was teasing or interacting with the dog. The dog watched it. They all saw this. So
Mist.
yeah, it's like a mist. And she felt it was like a brownie, and she's since drawn it actually. Lovely image she's created. So yeah, that I think that's how they move and manifest.
Yeah, but just with the mist, because sometimes I can see them more clearly, and you can see their feet. And then other times you can just see a mist, or like an energy. Yeah, so sometimes they don't completely manifest as well. I mean, and I never see them with my eyes. The only two fairies experiences that I say fairies because one was gnomes and the other one was a white orb that went just under my eye line, but I saw it, but I wasn't looking at it. And I assumed, because it was white and gliding, floating, I thought it was a dandelion seed pod.
Right. Yeah.
Only when I looked back at the video, but I saw it, so I didn't pay any attention. And only when I looked back, I was recording on my phone at the time, looking for fairies. One see it, but did see it, but I didn't. If I turned my head, I would have seen it, but the phone captured it. It popped into an orange, glowing orange humanoid shape. So it went from. So those are the only two that I've seen. The troop of gnomes with my eye. I mean, troop, and then that one, and then all the others I see on the cameras. And I have tried even the rods that I see. I see loads of different people call them rods. I mean, they've been seen for years, and lots of people say that they're insects, but they're not. They're absolutely not insects. They are beings. More often than not, they are. And I've seen hundreds of them, and I study them every single night. Are a group of elementals, fairies, traveling in one vessel, and they disguise themselves as insects. I know it sounds bonkers, but I've got videos to prove it. I've seen it. But yeah, the rods are they're all different shapes. Remember I was talking about the Toblerone shaped one?
Yes. Yeah.
One of them, but and I've seen that those, not always, but those points, those mounds, are individual faces. You don't always see it. It's captured on the camera and the light, etc. I've got pictures of them. You can see them, and I've seen almost like there's one that moves like a moth. It does move like an insect, but it's actually about 4 or 5 elementals together. One of them, I've seen one of in the groups. I'll describe what they look like. One of them has got like a pointed hat on.
Yeah.
Another is a female, classic, beautiful female face. Another one has got the classic pointy pixie ears, and then some of them don't look humanoid. Some of them do, some of them don't, and they travel in groups in this one vessel. I know it sounds absolutely crazy, but I've seen it. Yeah. So,
yeah. Carry on.
Sorry. But you can't, once you get me started, Claire, I can't.
No, it's fascinating, Jem. And as you're talking, I mean, I spoke to another guest the other day whose episode I think come out around Halloween. Is a witch, and she lives in America. And she was telling me about her fairy experiences and how she's very, very psychic, and how she's seen troops of gnomes. And she said, it's like they appeared in front of me, this troop of gnomes, to show me that they're all individuals and they look completely different. And they don't want to be, prejudiced against almost as people thinking, oh, gnomes look that way, that they all have different faces and they are individual little beings. So, you know, which seems to tie in with what you're saying, how
Yeah,
they all look different, have different personalities, different forms. Yeah.
yeah. But you cannot see them. Well, I can't see them with my eyes. I can only see them through the camera lens. And believe me, I
Mm,
have. I've been outside. I've been there with my phone in my hand, looking at the garden, looking at me in the
mm,
garden, and I can see them flying around me. And I'm looking, and they're massive as well. So you'd think
yeah.
that it's that
Yeah.
that size. See it? There's not. There's nothing there. Not even a tiny little fly. Nothing.
Mm,
Because my mind is still thinking, even though I've seen all this stuff and all the
mm,
things, I'm still thinking, you know, are they really there? Is it me? Am I crazy? Or, but
mm.
yeah, you can't see them. I can't see
No,
them.
it's to do with frequencies, isn't it? It's like Chris Fleming was saying about the frequencies that they are in, and that we can see a small amount of those light frequencies.
Yeah,
And then he was talking about the corner of, or I've, you know, read about corner of the eye phenomena where we can catch glimpses of things, and that's something to do with our brains and how it processes information. It's tapping into some of these broader frequencies of light. It's quite fascinating thing to research about. So we just can't always physically see them. I think people that are very, very psychic can,
yeah, yeah,
or that we sometimes are in the same
yeah.
frequency as them,
Yeah. Tune
perhaps,
in.
yeah,
Yeah,
and can see them.
yeah.
Mm,
I mean, I've seen flashes, 3 or 4 times, and I see
mm,
them on camera as well. But I have seen those with my eyes. Just literally the tiniest little flash, and it'll be at the bottom of the cabin, or it'll be within the ivy or something like that. So yeah,
mm,
I live in hope that one day I will see, they'll let me see them, and
yeah,
maybe like, hi, how are you? Yeah, good.
that'd be wonderful. Have you
Yeah,
asked them? Have you asked them to
yes,
manifest? And yeah,
I have, and the yeah, because the orb that turns into the bright orange humanoid shape,
yes, yeah,
that's
mm,
recorded on my iPhone as well, and I've not
mm,
put that anywhere. Um,
mm,
so yet, I mean, we'll put it on Instagram. But anyway, but
mm,
around that time, I did say, so that was May as well. I can't remember if that was before you came or after. But anyway,
mm,
I say to them, please, can I see you? And I knew that I was going to see them or something.
mm,
Um, I just knew it was a knowing that I had, but I've not had that again. And I have
mm,
asked, please see you, and not yet, sadly. Only on
mm.
the cameras. So yes.
Wonderful. Oh, it's so lovely to catch up with you, Jem. I mean, is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Well,
So,
I'm your
say,
Claire.
well,
I will tell you. No, I really wanted to tell you about those orbs that
yeah,
Harry. I mean, because
yes,
that
mm,
I liked once, but that he saw them 3, 4, 5 times. Yeah.
mm,
So something about children being still, because they're close to the more closer to the spirit world, aren't they?
yes, yeah,
So there's that children being able be more sensitive and being able to see things, and I completely think that's true. I mean,
mm,
myself when I was a child, I had these things happen to me. I had like dreams about being like looking in the mirror and seeing somebody else and knowing it was me.
mm,
uh, and I used to say to my mum, life is a gift and a test, and I don't know why I said that. I just It was a knowing that it was a
yeah,
download told me, or I remembered it. But anyway, but yeah,
mm,
children absolutely do have, they're more susceptible to seeing things, aren't they? So
yes, yeah,
Harry
definitely,
now, but he's more interested in his PlayStation and football and things like that. So, but I
yeah,
definitely think
mm,
sensitive like me. And Scarlett, oh, I forgot to tell you about Scarlett. So
mm,
Scarlett, a blue orb that came through her bedroom door, glided
oh,
past her and went out of the bedroom window, and she was like, yeah. That's whatever.
That's
It's like,
amazing.
so that about a year ago, I think. Yeah. But
And
it's a bright blue orb, but quite big as well, she said, and it just gently got
um,
to the bedroom door, which was open, and
yeah.
went out.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Did the orbs that you saw with your son, did they have any colours or were they colourless?
No, they were all different colours, but they were very so green, like a white, like a grey white, like a pinkish, maybe very soft pastely rainbow colours. Yeah, that,
Mm.
yeah. But they were so pretty, and I
Mhm.
kept. I've said it before, but I was like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. But yeah, but they were just chilling out. Oh, um,
Mm.
also as well, I think I mentioned this to you before, but do you remember when we were talking about my auntie's hotel in Devon, and then I
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
most terrifying place ever, but
Mm.
and I
Oh.
dream that I was
Mhm.
stood outside with somebody next to me, I think was my guide, and then
Mm.
there were all these things whizzing past me. I think I've said this before, but
Mm.
they were trying to tell me that the fairies were here, and I think they've been in my garden for a
Oh.
long time. But I've, because for years I've heard things in the house and just assumed it was a ghost. Maybe it was the fairies. I don't know. But in the dream, the guide was saying to me, "But they're always
Mm.
there. Just
Mm.
can't see them." And then as soon as he said that, all these things whizzing past me, right in front of me, and I couldn't see them, but I got a sense of them, and they were small and quick. All these things going past me, and then
Wow.
he got me to look at the night sky, and there were all those
Mm.
symbols, and I still don't know what they are. I'm trying to find
Mm.
out.
Oh, yes, because that was the other thing that's happened since is that you've noticed certain symbols, haven't you?
Oh yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So times on the ferry. So the most recent one, there was a humanoid face. So it moves like how they move is like it's a quick movement, mostly like orb. So you don't
Mm.
really ever see a full apparition. It's normally just the face,
Yeah.
and then the rest can't really see. Maybe see the odd arms and stuff, and it's all, you know what I mean. But there was one that was on at the top of the garden, and it'd gone over it looks male. It'd gone over the glass table,
Mm.
and this one's on the Instagram, and you can see like side view of his face. He's got black hair. He looks male. Excuse me, gosh, it's coffee, and he's got this quite a sloping long nose. But anyway, so underneath him, he's got. Is it him or is it another one? It might be another one actually, but it's in the same place. There is the symbol that I see, which is it's like a 5 on the dice. So it's 5 dots. But I spoke to your guest
Yes.
Jeremy about this, and
Oh. Oh,
brilliant.
cool. Oh, what did he say?
And
Oh, sip my coffee.
he said that that in Feyland there's a name for it, and I can't remember. Sorry, Jeremy, but he did tell me, and it was brilliant. But he said that it's the symbol for the earth, wind, air, and fire, the element.
Oh,
Sorry, yeah.
yeah,
So
because it's like a diamond. I remember now. It's like a diamond, isn't it?
yeah,
That
and
four. Has it
so,
got a dot in the middle?
yeah. So if you're just looking at the 5 on a dice, it's like that.
Yes.
But they're
Yeah.
black dots that are somewhere within the body or the myth
Mm.
of a being that's doing its business in the garden. So yeah, so many times. So yeah, that's what it is. It's a symbol. I will have to. You can put it in the notes. I'll send you what
Yeah.
Jeremy remember.
Please do, because that fascinated me. Because I looked it up. I was trying to Google it and look it up, and I found that it in our realm it was used by it's like a sort of a grammar thing, a grammar symbol. But
Mm,
I didn't think. I thought, oh yeah, it connects with the elements. And
yeah,
like what they called medicine wheels as well. The medicine wheel idea. Oh gosh, that's brilliant.
yeah. It's really interesting. So not every single one that I see has this symbol, but I've seen it a lot on, and I've
Mm.
seen hundreds of them. Elementals, fairies, gnomes, humanoid looking beings and non-humanoid. Yeah, and I just think quite where on there, they'll see it.
It's in their sort of makeup in
Yeah,
their bodies. Wow.
yeah, yeah. At
Yeah.
first, be must be like something to do with the camera, but it's not. It's only ever on them. It's
Mm,
never, I don't see it on a tree or anything. If you're looking at a still frame from the video, it's only ever
mm.
on their body. So
Are
yeah,
there any other symbols you've seen, or is that
the main
the main one?
main one. Yeah, I mean there might be, and I've just not. It took me
Yeah.
years to figure out that the lights inside the house were fairies. So
Yeah. And then the other thing is that these beings that you've captured, the elementals, they seem to be, or to my mind, sometimes they seem to be carrying things, don't they? Like
yeah,
I was wondering whether they were, because they're attracted to your crystals.
oh
They,
definitely,
yeah.
definitely. And I have yeah, so I've sent them in here and seen. So one of those insect-like beings
Mm,
that's been here, and I've seen the same one in different areas of the garden as well, with the same group in them, and they're always so happy and smiley as well. But yeah, I've seen one of those in here. But my sister was staying in here with her son, who is 3, almost 4,
mm,
and he's not said that he's seen anything, but they love it when he stays, because there's about 3 or 4 different beings that have been next to him when she's, because it's quite handy, the camera's here. She can
mm,
put him in bed in here, and he loves it. He's asleep straight away. It's definitely the crystals. But yeah, we've seen a I don't know if you would call him a gnome or not, a young gnome, but without a big, because not the older gnomes have
mm.
got big bushy beards.
Yeah.
But a younger one, he's got a pointed hat on anyway. He's super smiley, and he just goes from the ground up. But so there's a really good picture of that. So just as Kate's put Oscar to bed, he goes
Mm.
like
Oh,
that.
isn't that lovely?
uh, there's
Oh,
Oh, did you ever see that video where there was that energy that came towards me when I was in the cabin? So I was turning the lights off,
I
and
think so.
it
Oh, yeah, the black thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
that looked like any. You didn't see any faces or anything, but you could
Mm,
certainly see that it was like an energy mass
mm,
was coming towards me. So, but I didn't see anything,
mm.
um, But sadly,
Yeah, that was on the floor, wasn't it? It was like a little black. Was that the one where it's near your feet? Or was that
it
another one?
might have been another one. This one
Yeah.
was like around this area on me. So it
Oh, okay.
kind of round, it comes like towards the dresser and then goes that way, like towards the door where I am, just shutting the
Mm,
door and the lights off and stuff like that. But before I even knew they were here, so this cabin, I've had it for 3 years now, and I used to spend a lot of time in here at night time on my own, and I always was going,
mm,
tell that there was, I could never see anything, but never in a million years did I think that it was fairies, or
mm.
never in a million years. So there we go.
Yeah. Well, when I came up, I think I spoke about this in the main episode, and you'd gone off. I was in your cabin when I just sort of arrived. You'd gone off to make us a cup of tea,
Yeah.
and I'd seen your cat come in, but your cat had gone, and there was beside me, beside the sofa where I was sat, there was this rustling in the corner. Yeah, and I
I don't.
didn't know what that was.
Well, it's
Yeah.
definitely mice. There's definitely not mice.
It's like this little rustling sound. I thought, oh, is that something make I thought I expect to see your cat appear from the
Hmm.
corner, but they were out in the garden. Hmm.
Yeah. Looking at her, she's absolutely gone now. She's
Oh, oh, it's lovely having this catch up with you, Jen.
yeah,
And
really nice. I could talk for
yeah,
hours.
thank you. I know. You need to put it in a book. You need to put
Yeah,
all this in a book. Yeah.
yeah.
And
I need to ask them really whether they'd be happy for me to do that or not.
yeah.
I feel like even though they're here and they clearly know that I know that they're here, but yeah, I need to ask their permission, definitely, to see what they think about that.
I think your Instagram, what's brilliant about it is that you're compiling your research and your understanding of fairies, and I think that's really valuable contribution to investigating fairies, like the Fairy Investigation Society and things. So I mean, it'd be wonderful if you could one day, with the permission of those beings, put it all together and say, well, this is my understanding of fairies through my experience, perhaps.
I think definitely. I mean, thinking about it, it would be a shame if, what I've seen and how they travel and things like that. I mean, I know that they really enjoy the rain and the wind. They love it. Because there's lots of movement. I can see them and things like that. And I know that they travel in groups and they disguise themselves as insects. I keep saying it, do, even though you can't see them anyway, so I don't really know what the point is. But But maybe I should do. Be a shame if it wasn't recorded, possibly. But I'll ask their permission.
Thank you, Jem, for coming on. Okay, bye for now. This show is entirely created and edited by me. Appreciate your support and for listening. If you have a paranormal or fairy story that you'd like to share with me, email the show clairefairywhisperer@gmail.com or claire@thefairyWhispering.com. Thank you. See you next time. Bye for now.